The Supreme Court convened a session for the mention of the 3 presidential election petitions. 2 of the petitions, one by Prime Minister Raila Odinga and another by a group of civil societies through the African Center for Governance, AFRICOG, are challenging the declaration of Uhuru Kenyatta as president by the electoral body IEBC following the general election held a fortnight ago. The other petition, filed by 3 registered voters, Moses Kuria, Dennis Itumbi and Florence Jamatia, is challenging the inclusion of rejected votes in the final presidential poll tally.
And we start immediately with the first one, petition number 3 of 2013.
But the 3 petitions have been the subject of intense debate in the public and in the social media, even triggering an exchange of words between the 2 top contenders for the country's top job, President-elect Uhuru Kenyatta and the court presidential candidate Raila Odinga. The Supreme Court stamping its authority on this matter even before the rival legal teams begin the showdown in the courtroom.
The court is now fully seized of the petitions challenging the presidential elections. Towards this end, the petitioners and the respondents, their agents, supporters, and advisors are directed to desist from prosecuting the merits of their cases in any forum other than this court. 2, it is the responsibility of the advocates on record to advise their clients in these cases about the consequences of conduct or statements that can undermine the authority of this court.
The media too will have to walk a tightrope while discharging its duty of keeping the public informed on the progress of the petitions, whose determination will either confirm Kenyatta's triumph at the ballot or have Kenyans go through a fresh round of presidential poll.
While the media must, in keeping with its constitutional mandate, continue to keep the public informed about the progress of these petitions, media houses and individual journalists and commentators are to perform their functions in a fair, impartial and responsible manner.
The Supreme Court session today was more of a familiarization meeting between the bench and the legal teams representing various parties in the petitions, as well as afford the bench an opportunity to issue crucial directives on the process of hearing and determining the petitions.
The proceedings will be televised live.
The Supreme Court will on Monday next week convene a pre-trial conference to set the ground rules and isolate the issues in the 3 petitions, these to help eliminate irrelevancies during the submissions and to ensure that the hearing does not take unnecessarily long due to the strict constitutional timelines for the conclusion of the petitions. And from Tuesday next week, the court will listen to the submissions by the legal teams representing the 3 petitioners and the respondents before the judges retreat to write their rulings on the 3 petitions. The judges are expected to render their verdict on the 3 petitions by the end of next week.
The court is ready and prepared to hear and determine the petitions on the basis of the Constitution, the applicable law, and the evidence.
Before the Monday session, the 6 judges, together with their legal research teams, will go through the petitions and the written submissions filed by the respondents to acquaint themselves with the facts of the cases. If the petitions challenging Kenyatta's election will be negative, then the president-elect will be sworn into office on the first Tuesday after the ruling. And if the petitions will be successful, then a fresh presidential poll will have to be held within 60 days of the Supreme Court ruling. The Supreme Court will have the original jurisdiction and final say on the 3 presidential election petitions. The court team needs to convince at least 4 out of the 6 judges to rule in their favor and set aside the announcement of Uhuru Kenyatta as president-elect. If there will be a tie, then the status quo will remain, meaning Uhuru Kenyatta will be sworn in as the 4th president of the Republic of Kenya. Francis Gachuri, Citizen Live at 9 at the Supreme Court, Nairobi.